Do you feel a loss in just motivation or just chronic just irritability, or your emotions are just not there? Well, my brother, you're burnt out. I'm going to explain how we can avoid burnout through the Eisenhower matrix and how I've been able to use it to effectively use my time management in a way where I can evade burnout completely. Let's get right into it. So the first question we need to ask ourselves, is it important or is it urgent or is it both? And I've realized that we tend to confuse both of those. And really the majority of the work that we're panicking about it right now is just urgent. It's not that important like those mandatory meetings or those networking meetings or those just unnecessary worksheets that a lot of people give you. Urgent, yes. Important, probably not. So important, not really, but in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey basically explains that every task can be categorized into the categories of urgent and important. So get a pencil, paper, write this down, do this with me, jot down all the tasks that you have to do now, then draw a box. And this box is going to represent your time. There are going to be 4 quadrants in it, okay? So I want you to draw these quadrants and we're going to be organizing the tasks into each category. So this is what I mean. So quadrant 1 is going to be all your important and urgent tasks. So the important stuff with deadlines, like jobs that you need to do that day, or immediate follow-ups with emails, anything that needs to be done immediately. Okay, so it qualifies for a lot more, definitely differs within the individual, but these important events that require kind of last minute preparation. And then the second quadrant is going to be your important but not urgent tasks. So these usually involve investing into yourself from a long-term perspective. It all goes here. In the third quadrant, these are not important but urgent. If you tend to have really long to-do lists that are overwhelming, you can never get anything done, then you might be confused or you don't know the difference between quadrant 1 or quadrant 3. Because when something's urgent, we usually tend to confuse it as important, but normally it's actually not the case. So let me give you an example. Your buddy hits you up for the bars. We gotta go right now. Is it actually important for you to go to the bars or is it just urgent? I challenge you to just take a step back and recognize what's actually important for your goals. And the last quadrant are your time wasters that aren't important or aren't urgent. So right here, I'm about to tell you how to utilize this Eisenhower matrix for yourself. So let's start with quadrant 1, and that is our reactive quadrant, meaning that we need to get the task done in here first. They demand our attention, and these are the tasks that should be on the top of your priority list to do them first. So if you just notice on your quadrant graph, the matrix graph that you drew out, and you got a lot of tasks in the quadrant 1, you definitely have a problem. And this means you're probably spending or allocating a ton of the time in this space of urgent and important, which in result will burn you out very, very fast, very, very quickly. So if you're putting or allocating a ton of tasks into the quadrant 1, where it should be in quadrant 3, this is going to be a very logical reason on why you can burn out so fast, because you're putting stuff that's not important into quadrant 1, and we only have so much time or energy allocation of our focus in a day. So this is why we have to be able to differentiate between quadrant 1 and quadrant 3. Okay, so make sure you definitely know the difference between quadrant 1 and quadrant 3. So the big hack on preventing burnout is to do and allocate a ton of your time into quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 tasks are the backbone of a high performance life. These are the tasks that require planning and effort, but they often get overshadowed because they don't scream urgency. We're talking about self-care, regular workouts, staying ahead of your jobs or your studies, investing into relationships. By dedicating more time to quadrant 2, we build perseverance, discipline, and a rock-solid sense of purpose. That's how we reduce stress and keep burnout at bay. So imagine just setting aside time every day or every week for some, self-improvement and investment of your long-term future. You take care of your body or your mind by hitting the gym, or you're learning a new skill on even just YouTube. Just never forget to invest into yourself, into your long-term future, and even spending quality time with the family and friends that matter. So let's move on to quadrant 3. And quadrant 3 is notorious for delegation. This is what the guy says in his book. You need to delegate quadrant 3. It's because a lot of people don't know how to differentiate quadrant 1 and quadrant 3. And basically, it's the urgency but not important stuff. So let me just kind of give you an example. So say if I get a call from my buddy, hey, you want to hang out, or you want to go to the bars, or all that stuff. It's probably not that important, and I probably don't need to be able to do that. Okay, so you need to be able to delegate the urgency, the fact of, hey, we can do this now, but it's not that important. And sometimes it does take a little bit of sacrifices in this quadrant 3, whether that's friends, family, certain things that may result in an urgent impulse buy. But the biggest thing is to differentiate that quadrant 1, quadrant 3, and be able to delegate certain urgency factors. So quadrant 4 is not urgent, not important, kind of the stuff that we BS throughout the day, like going on TikTok, playing video games, watching our Netflix shows. And it basically reaps absolutely no benefit towards our business, our work, whatever we're doing. You're trying to eliminate these tasks as much as possible throughout the day, because if you have more of these tasks and you're allocating more of your energy or focus towards these types of events or types of scenarios, you're probably not going to see the results that you want to see, and it's ultimately going to result in burnout. So some tips for dealing with quadrant 3 and quadrant 4 is quadrant 3, we often find tasks with perceived urgency. They seem urgent to others, but might not align with our own goals and priorities. This is when we need to man up and say no, or delegate tasks that don't fit our vision. It's essential to set boundaries and prioritize our own well-being. And as for quadrant 4, those are just time wasters. They're sneaky, while breaks and the relaxation are essential. Too much time in this quadrant can definitely lead to procrastination and loss of productivity. Okay guys, so now it's time to take control of your time. So this is what we're going to be able to do. So you need to assign each quadrant a color. Okay, then plan your schedule. What I like to do is I like to have the most green that is possible, which is my quadrant 2. And I take care of the responsibilities first, aka quadrant 1, like the jobs, all inbound inquiries, estimates, meetings with virtual assistants. And then I make sure to schedule quadrant 2 tasks right after. I'm a morning guy, so I'll do quadrant 1, then quadrant 2. But remember that the quadrant 2 tasks aren't going to happen without planning. So keep quadrant 1 tasks to a minimum, and don't forget to include breaks or downtime in quadrant 4. But make sure you don't let those time wasters take over your day. You definitely do not want to have more quadrant 4 than anything. All right, my brothers, that's a wrap. The Eisenhower Matrix is the key to leveling up your time management game and preventing burnout. But remember, it's all about finding that balance between urgency and importance. So if you enjoyed this content, smash that subscribe button so you never miss a video. And thank you for being a part of this awesome community. It's only growing right now. Stay pumped and focused to keep giving y'all free game, free value. Peace out. Much love.